secret conversation in the middle of the podcast.
Group chat that turned into a podcast? Hell yeah, dude. Venting to all your besties? Hell yeah, dude. Are they a little bit bothered? Hell yeah, dude.
Welcome to A Little Bit Bothered, the podcast where our group chat spills into your ears. We're for friends who overshare, laugh too much, and aren't afraid to get a little snarky.
We've taken our brutally honest, vulnerable, and downright hilarious conversations from the chat and turned them into a podcast because honestly, why keep all this entertainment to ourselves?
Whether it's the petty stuff, the deep stuff, or the stuff that makes you wonder, did they really just say that? We're here to say, I think we're a little bit bothered.
I think we're a little bit bothered.
Now that I know it's me, I feel like I have to say it.
I'm listening every time now. I'm going to be listening to see if I can decipher that it's you, but I cannot tell that it's you. I think it's Kelsey still. In my head, it still sounds like Kelsey.
So the thing is, I don't know when I said that either. Like, I can't remember what episode I said that in. Or was it our first one? I don't know.
It was part of
it.
It was part of our intros, so
it was.
It
was part of one of our intros back.
Well, when we were saying them. Yeah.
Saying the intros?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. I'll just take your word for it because I can't remember.
Yeah, I can vouch. It's definitely you.
Okay.
If you listen right at the last part, you could kind of hear Nicole, like you could hear that it's her. I don't know. That's how I distinguished.
I wonder if our listeners can tell who we are when we're talking, like if they know which one of us is which. If they don't know us.
Maybe.
Or if they only know one of us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know. You have to let us know, guys.
Well, I mean, on that note, should we introduce ourselves a little bit? Hear our names and our voices. I'm Monica. Somebody else go.
I'm Ashley.
I was joking. I'm so sorry. I was joking. I'm Nicole.
Well, don't.
I'm Kelsey, and I'm not choking.
No, she's fine. It's just me choking.
I'm okay.
We are such an organized podcast. It's unreal.
This episode's not a good one for me to flex my voice and say which one is mine because I don't sound okay still.
You sound much better than you did,
well,
for sure.
By process of elimination, that's Nicole.
Right.
Actually,
to be back though. Yeah,
yes.
Last week we were gone. It is good to be back because it was Easter and I was also on death's doorstep. Knock, knock, knocking.
The whole end of this month is honestly just like the most biggest clusterfuck ever. The most biggest. Seriously. That doesn't sound right. The most big.
The biggest.
Yeah. It's a very large clusterfuck, whatever it is.
It's the largest.
A mess is what it is.
It's the biggest.
Too much is happening all in 1 week of the end of the month, pretty much, it seems like.
Yeah, it's always this time of year. It's just crazy.
Easter, my daughter's birthday was on Easter this year, and then my birthday is 4 days after hers. Kelsey, I know you're having your son's birthday party tomorrow.
His birthday is tomorrow, and his birthday party.
Actual birthday is tomorrow. Okay.
And then mine is Wednesday.
Your birthday is on Wednesday. Yeah. It's just been it's a crazy week.
There's a lot of birthdays.
It's a lot of birthdays.
A lot of birthdays.
I was gonna say, Kelsey, your fly hasn't been making an appearance this season.
No, but it's
like,
not
can you
warm
be the
yet.
crier in the fly still if we haven't seen the fly?
Trust me, I'm sure there's time. They're still awakening from winter. They haven't quite made their resurgence yet.
Okay. All right.
You're definitely still the crier, so you got half of it down. So.
We'll definitely keep the crier.
That won't
won't change ever. she was crying yesterday because she was mad that she couldn't be mad anymore.
Yeah, I was mad at Trevor, and then he
debunked her reason for being mad. Yeah,
and so then I'm pregnant. I'm just a girl. It was very upsetting that I got so upset, and then it was illegitimate, and then I had to find somewhere for those emotions to go.
I can relate though, because I hate being mad about something and then it literally gets debunked, and I'm like, well,
and then you're wrong.
I can't get back that energy. I can't get back. I'm wrong. Excuse me. I don't like being wrong.
After I figured out I was wrong, it just my resolve crumbled. I was like, I don't know. He's like, we should talk about this. I was like, there's nothing to talk about. I was wrong.
Now that I'm wrong, it's over. The conversation's over. The argument's over. Everything's over.
It was. I'm like, there's nothing to talk about unless you want me to just tell you all the ways I was wrong.
It's the worst though, because you like play the scenario and like the fight over in your head, so you're like mentally preparing for it, and then you're like, oh, okay.
I was ready. I had every bullet point, like every avenue, and I was just wrong. So.
Yeah, and we gassed her up about it too.
They did.
You're like, you are right. You are.
I was like, I'm not sure.
Every right to be mad at that.
I was like, I'm not sure that I need to pick this fight. Like, I think it would be okay maybe to let it go. I'm not sure if I'm being petty. And they're like, no, do it.
Okay, well, the best part is like I was so far behind, I missed all of it because I'm driving back, right? And so last night I'm like 8:30 at night. I'm like scrolling through trying to catch up. They totally egged you on. Go fight.
Yeah, Monica was on a camping trip, living her best life, and
I was
peaceful.
cracking up.
They validated
silence
everything,
nature.
and then
Yeah.
he was like, actually, that's not how it happened.
Well, okay, for the record,
You
I
actually don't
did
have a
in
reason
the
to be mad.
beginning. I'm pretty sure in the beginning I said something like, "Are we sure it's worth it?" But then you guys said, "Yeah," and I said, "Okay, well then I'll get behind it." Then.
Yeah.
And then I.
Well, you
egged her
said
on.
think
Way too
selfishly. Will this benefit you today or not? to engage.
And
in
you
this
said yes,
fight.
and I said, "Okay."
Yeah. No, I did. If I was right, it would have. I think.
If you were right.
It
And
worked
she
out
laid
okay.
it out.
but
She laid it out to where it made perfect sense, and we were there for her. We were like, yeah, "We're going into battle. Yes,
did,
we're
yes.
standing right behind you,
Mhm,
girl.
mhm.
We got this."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, if those did
It
turn out to be
crumbled
the
out.
facts, it would have been right on track.
it's fine. It's good.
It would have been fine.
It was just not the facts.
But wait, we're here, and did he go shooting this morning or no? Did he stay home?
So it wasn't. I guess it was going to be this afternoon, and I was like, "Well, can I at least like record the podcast before you go?" If you're, he's like, or that's not how it happened. I was like, "I need to record," and he's like, "Well, can I go after?" And I was like, "If you pick up Mattis's cake," and so he was like, "Okay," but then they
Bargain.
canceled.
Oh,
So,
best case scenario.
all of it for nothing. All of it for nothing.
Really, the best case scenario.
Well, now you get to record. He's not going to go, and he still has to pick up the cake. So boom, boom, boom.
Seriously.
It's a win-win-win.
it'll be fine.
It is a
I
win-win.
mean, we've all been there. We've all experienced this. In some shape
That's
or
funny.
form.
Yeah.
We get it.
What are we talking about today? What's happening?
I reread The Hunger Games, and
Oh, that's right.
read the new ones.
Yeah, book chat.
Cause like when it's been a couple years since that other one came out about President Snow.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not get the hype on that whenever it first came out. Like
Yeah, I didn't jump on that bandwagon.
I didn't.
either.
I missed.
I
don't know.
usually care about the origin story of the villain. I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I
do.
even knew it was about him or like or if there was just not enough like people hyping it up that I was like, I don't want to read that, but it was good.
I loved Hunger Games, and I didn't even like know about the new
Yeah.
books that came out.
Yeah,
like, I,
I
don't
feel
remember
like
hearing
it was
about
just
it.
poor. Like, yeah,
Yeah, for
It wasn't-
Me,
it didn't
just,
get, like,
I feel
big.
like it came out
Mm-mm.
too long.
too late. Too
after.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then I
too
was
big of a
like,
gap.
oh,
Yeah.
like I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not really in it anymore. Like if
We're
it would have
over
came
it.
out when I was really into the Hunger Games, like I would have been in
Mhm.
it.
If it would have been like a year or two after, I think it would have kept with its. But I think it's resurging now because she released the Hey Mitch one. So
Mhm,
now it's like everybody's circling back to reread them all,
mhm.
and now there's a lot of hype about it, which
Yeah.
is good because that
Yeah,
was a
they're
good
great
book,
books.
and it was a good movie. That the one about Snow and
Was it?
Hey Mitch's is going to be so good, but his is like royally fucked. Like
Mm.
that dude.
I can't wait.
I know
I'm-
why
I'm
he's an
gonna
alcoholic.
start
I
it.
loved him much.
If you want to know why he's an alcoholic, it's justified.
Honestly, I'll probably start it tomorrow. Maybe, I don't know. I've just finished Kingdom of Ash, so I'm officially done with Throne of Glass. Woohoo! We're still waiting on Monica and Ashley to finish.
I've read 7
So we
books
can't
since I
Marathon.
finished.
My
Can't
gosh.
say anything yet, but
Yeah.
I'm done, and I'm happy to
We're
be
on
done.
what,
It
the
was
5th?
good. I'm
We're on the
glad I
5th.
did it.
Yeah. I think
Yes,
so.
you guys got a few more books to go. 3 more books.
Mm-hmm.
2 more books.
But they're picking up speed.
on.
Like
What are you
this.
You're on the 6.
This
no,
book picked up
you have 2
speed.
more left.
You only have 2 more left.
after this one.
Yeah. The longest
Yeah.
ones though. I think it's like 25 hours and
Yeah.
33 hours if you're listening.
Yeah, the last 3
They're the
books
best
are
ones,
the
though,
longest
so it's
ones, but
fine.
they're the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're so good. And honestly, I love Kael's book. I cannot wait for you guys to get to Kael's book.
Mhm.
And I see so much hate for Tower of Dawn. Like, nobody likes this book. This is Kael's book. I fucking love that book. That's
the
one of my
next one?
favorites, I think. Yeah.
I do like Kale, so
Queen of Shadows is my favorite, I think. And then Kael's book, and then Kingdom of Ash. But
Mm.
like, too many things happen in Kingdom of Ash that I almost feel like it's hard for that one to be my actual favorite, because just it's like 4 books in one. I feel like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
a lot.
it's a lot.
It's a big book. It's a big book.
Okay, wait, I have a question. Does Kael's book, is it just a continuation of the timeline, but in his point of view, or is it his point of view from a previous timeline?
No. So yeah, the events
in the
that are
timeline.
happening are within the same timeline of Empire of Storms.
What
So
you're
Empire of
reading
Storms
now
and Tower
is
of Dawn
like-
are doing the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
But Empire of Storms, you're with Aelin and crew, and Tower of Dawn, you're with Kael and company.
Oh, him going to the place
gets
he's
his
going.
own crew.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
he's not
Yeah.
there
His own
right
crew.
now. He's
He's
yeah,
not
so
really
you'd
going to
just
be in
reading
this
where
book,
he's at.
and then we're going to hear where
He's
No,
he's
it's
not.
not in that
Yeah.
book at all. Yeah.
Got it.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
okay.
So when you
Yes.
guys get
Understood.
to Tower of Dawn, you have to like remember to jump backwards.
We're
Yeah.
going back in
'Cause
time.
I
doing
knew that was happening, but then I texted Kelsey and I was like, what the fuck does this guy know? Talking about a certain character. And I was like, oh, wait a second. He actually doesn't know anything because it hasn't happened yet. Never mind.
yeah.
I
okay.
knew they were on the same timeline at some point in my knowledge of the books. I knew that, but when I started reading Kael's, it was gone. Like I was
Yeah.
probably 3/4 of the way through the book before I was like, oh, this is the ones that are supposed to be like at the same time. Okay, this makes more sense now. I was like
So
trying to
funny.
figure out where we were in the world. Like yeah,
That's funny. I don't think if I would have known beforehand that they were happening at the same time that I would have figured it out. I think it would have taken me longer to figure it out, but I knew because I
you
knew
don't
that those ones
you
were the
wouldn't
tandem
know
read.
until you figured out where Aelin was. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
those 2 are the books that people say to tandem read, and I don't know why. Now I remember, Kelsey, you had said it doesn't make sense that you would tandem read these. It literally doesn't make sense.
They're
that you
on
would
the same
tandem read it.
timeline, but they have nothing
That's
to
it,
do.
but they have
They're
nothing to do with
light
each
years
other.
apart.
They're
like
literally not even the same storyline.
no,
Yeah.
it would just be a lot. It would be a lot, I think.
I think
I
it would
I
just
think
be
a
too much
tandem read like
information.
that.
And it would take away from like Kael's book is so good, and I feel like it
Yeah.
would just take away from
it.
how
I
good
agree.
his book is. Yeah,
I mean, Empire of Storms is so good
It's
too
good,
in its
but-
own right.
yeah.
And
I
for
lo-
like Aelin's own storyline, it is so good. But Kael deserves his moment, I think.
It
even
was just
though
a really
I
good-
couldn't
yeah.
stand him for half of the series.
I think a tandem read like that would only be fun if it's like your reread to like
Yeah.
really put
Yeah.
them side by side.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
for the first time through, I don't think I would want to. I would be so confused.
Yeah.
And I'm also so glad. I know 3 of the 4 of us did this. We did Assassin's Blade first. I am so glad we did Assassin's Blade first.
Yes. Although my
Um,
sister and I were talking about it, and she made a good point that, like, for her, if she would have read Assassin's Blade first, she would have been really annoyed with Selena. And she wouldn't,
Why?
like,
It's always the
she comes
people.
across as, like, really cocky, which she is, right? She's really
She
cocky
is
and
very
arrogant.
cocky. There's
but-
a reason, though. There's
Like, for me,
you know.
I took a completely opposite take from her. I enjoyed it because
Mhm.
you got to see, like, some of the why and the shit
Mhm.
that she's been through. But for her, she's like, I think I would have been just, like, too annoyed and wouldn't have wanted to go on with the series.
What I've learned is that no matter who you talk to, however they read it, they
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 swear
are
by it.
convinced that is the way that it should be read,
Yeah.
and they can give
Yeah.
you 1,000 reasons why it should be read that way.
Yes.
And it's just
I don't feel very strongly like that it has to be read in the order I read it, because I read Assassin's Blade 3rd, right?
Mhm.
I think
As
so,
the
yeah.
3rd book. Yeah, but I liked it.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was like annoying to go back in time at that point or anything. Like I thought it was fine. I don't know.
I think it would have been
But-
okay. There's such short
Yeah.
stories that, like, it's okay. You're not, like, really immersed in, like, a huge long book, but
I personally
still
just
liked
liked knowing what she was referencing when she was referencing it and not having to be like, what's this we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of
I also
cryptic.
really liked that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that by the end of the series, everything that you've read in Assassin's Blade makes another appearance by the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
I guess in that right, it might be nice to read it, third, because maybe it's a little bit more fresh in your mind. But for me, I didn't have that problem. Like
Yeah.
I retain every time something was brought up, I knew it was from Assassin's Blade or whatever. I liked having Assassin's Blade as that little kind of reference almost, or like a callback. Like it was just nice where I'd be listening and then something from Assassin's Blade would make an appearance, and I was like, "Oh, nice little callback to our friends in Assassin's Blade." Like I love it, It just kind of like throws you back to the beginning of the story for me, or like, and there's stuff too that like, there's one character in Kingdom of Ash that I completely forgot about until he shows up again, and I was like, "Oh, I totally forgot about that guy. He was in Throne of Glass. I forgot
I
about
need
him."
to talk to you about that guy. I was waiting until you were done.
Well, okay, text me because is it the same guy? It might not be. I don't know if it's the same guy.
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Okay. But I was like, I totally forgot about that person. What a nice little callback. Now it almost like makes you recall that entire book, because I feel like sometimes when I'm reading one book I forget about all the rest. I'm focusing on that one book until something happens that makes me remember the other plot lines in the story, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Yes. Yes, Kelsey,
Whenever
yes.
they're done, we need to discuss that because I have big feelings about that guy coming back.
Do you
And-
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even think of who it
I
would
can't-
be
I'll
that you're
take-
talking
So
about.
cryptic
I-
for our listeners.
I'm like, who is the
I
guy?
can tell
What
you
guy?
something.
You won't know.
I
Can't
can't
tell you,
remember.
Does
so-
it ruin anything if we know
No,
he comes
I mean,
back?
I
I'm
mean,
not
it's
telling
kind of
you.
a fun little surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
It doesn't ruin or not ruin anything, but I'm not telling you.
There's so many characters, I feel like, in this book. I have to like
I
think
know.
We could
sometimes when they like bring
talk-
up a
which I
new
think is
character. I'm like,
actually-
who is that again?
I think it's kind of fascinating, actually, that there's so many characters in this book, and you don't hear any hate about that. But in Fourth Wing, when the last book came out, there was
Oh
so much hate
my
about how there's so many
God.
characters and it's so hard to keep track of.
Oh,
Oh,
I did
Yeah.
actually have a hard time
that
keeping track
pisses
of
me
people
off.
in the last Fourth Wing
I
too.
didn't. I feel like I like needed a second for my mind to like re-jog
Yeah.
on some people, but it wasn't like I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
I
Like,
think it's
I
because
got
I
on.
feel like there's way more characters in Throne of Glass to
There
like lose
is.
track of than there even
There
is
is.
in Fourth Wing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like
the only
comparatively,
difference.
there's not
The
that
only
many
difference for
in
me
Fourth
is
Wing.
like we have read Throne of Glass like all in a row, so like there's not time to forget.
Yes,
And with
yeah.
Fourth Wing, we read it and then we're waiting. Well, at least I was waiting for a while for Onyx Storm.
because you're
Yeah.
not a
So-
psycho.
So then, like, I had read other books and forgotten. So if that's other people's experience, I guess
Yeah, if you didn't
I
do a
see why
reread.
you'd be like, who is that? Wait, what? But otherwise, there is way more in Throne of Glass.
Mhm. And they have similar names too. Oh my gosh! you
Sorry.
do. They're having a secret conversation in the middle of the podcast.
I've been waiting to tell her about this for her to finish.
Okay.
We could absolutely talk about this book probably for like this series for an entire episode because there's so much that goes on, but we're not going to do that. We'll shut up about it. We'll move on. What else are we talking about today?
Someday we should just go off on a tangent recording it and release it as its own like Throne of Glass episode because
Throne of
Glass.
get it out of our system.
We really
Yeah. When we
should,
finish,
especially because- which
we
we're-
can.
Yeah, we're really bad about. We're kind of sorry, guys. We're kind of bad about the whole social media thing. We made a fable. We're like, do our book club with us. Blah blah blah. We suck at that.
Blah,
all
blah,
right,
blah.
we suck at it.
Well, like, to be honest, we're barely surviving life as it is. Like to
True,
be adding
it's
all these
true.
extra things, like
Very true.
just
Very very true.
love us.
But
We're
we
just a bunch of
also-
girls.
I also think like
Kelsey's
we
favorite
just
phrase lately. I'm just
yeah.
a girl.
Just a
It's her
girl.
excuse for everything.
We also rapidly consume these books, but at different speeds. Like usually Kelsey
Yeah.
and I fly through whatever series and we're waiting for our besties to catch up and we're like, dude, come on.
Mhm.
Stop having a life and just read.
Yeah.
That's the problem is me and
Yeah.
Kelsey don't have lives.
We have
Not really
children and a
there.
house to clean and
And
books
that's
to
pretty
listen
much
to.
it. Books to listen to, houses to clean. That's it. Children to feed, and make
And
sure
drive,
they
in
don't
my
break anything or
case.
break themselves.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's still a lot.
It's so funny.
It's a lot in its
Ugh.
own way. You
It
guys
is a
have
lot.
different sponsoribilities.
Sponsorability. You guys are real adults.
Rugrats.
Sponsorabilities.
Okay, what else are we gonna chat about? Because I think last episode
Trends.
we had so many things we wanted to talk about, and we didn't get to them all because we started going off on other tangents.
Well,
as
wait.
per
Can I
usual.
ask a question? I have something. I want to ask a question before
Yeah.
we get into our actual scheduled things. Are you guys following the Justin Bieber drama?
Ooh,
I
is there
was-
new
I
drama?
was before I got off
Yeah.
social media.
What?
Oh,
What is
okay.
the new drama?
The
Well,
last
it's all
thing
just
I
like-
watched
it's all,
was the 7-part series of Haley being
speculation.
a stalker.
What?
I mean, people think that he's like going off the
deep
rails.
end. Yeah,
I saw
Mhm.
something about
honestly,
like going off the deep
He
end
looks
because-
unwell.
he does look
Okay, is
unwell.
this the same stuff as like because Selena's engaged, or is this other stuff? 'Cause
Oh,
that,
I don't-
that
was
I saw
part of it.
AI.
That
They
think it
people
was-
say
it
that.
was
I
basic
think they just
catalyst.
keep feeding that beast. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
a lot of it they say started when all this like Diddy stuff came out, which I find more believable to be
yeah, I
causing
agree.
this
I
spin
agree.
out than
Yeah.
Selena. I mean,
Yeah.
we're adults. I'm sure
Yeah.
that he's an adult and
Yeah.
he's married with a child. I think that this is
Yeah.
not like ending his life.
Yeah, people are just attached to the Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez like
They are. They
relationship,
never
probably
got
more
over
than
it,
the
and
two of
that's
them like ever were, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm really interested in the Haley Bieber being a stalker situation. Like
Well-
that
That
intrigues
is
me
an
very
interesting
much.
I watched a clip the other day where she was like, it sounds like an arranged marriage, but it's not. She's like, this is not arranged marriage. And then he's like on the Ellen show and he's like, I think I'm in an arranged marriage.
Yeah. He's been calling it an arranged marriage for a long time, actually, I guess.
It is kind of like, if you go down that rabbit hole, it is
Yeah,
kind of
it's funny.
It's
odd.
like almost legitimate though. It's like, oh, I could
Yeah.
kind of see where maybe
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
some of these things, and that's the thing with all the gossip channels. It's like sometimes these people make sense. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you can connect that dot to that dot to that dot. Okay,
Mhm.
we might have an actual storyline.
I
Yeah.
feel so
Here.
bad for him. I feel bad for him and I feel
I do
bad
feel bad
almost
for him.
I almost feel bad talking about it just because I feel like
Yeah.
how much of these speculations perpetuate his like unwellness.
Yeah.
Oh, for
because
sure.
people are just like constant
sure.
about it and they've gone wild making up
Yeah.
so many different
I
angles
feel
to
so
this.
bad for him. Like he was so young, being put into such an extreme spotlight, and to grow up with like that much access to things that no 13-year-old should have access to.
Well, and
like,
it sounds like he
how
was
could that not
definitely
impact you?
exposed to the wrong people as
Yeah.
well in that. So I worry about him.
I actually hope like a lot of this Diddy stuff does come to light, like all the like everything I always feel like gets buried and we never actually find out what, you know, the end of it is. I hope it actually all comes out. We find out the truth of whatever happened, and the people that were like victimized actually get to take this and use it to heal and like move forward.
I hope
and-
that it's
you know what I
healing
mean?
and
Like,
not the opposite
yeah,
because
that's what I
people
worry
take
about.
things and they make them so like
and it's hard
gross
because they're
that-
already in the spotlight.
mhm.
And so
Right.
there's just gonna be so much attention on it anyway.
They're going to
Mhm.
decide if it call comes out, they're going to the public is going to decide how like Justin feels about it and then
Mhm,
that's
yeah.
not
Mhm.
that's
not fair.
not good for him
That's not
or
good
his
for
mental
him.
health, I don't think.
No.
Well, I think
to
it's
have
that because
people-
it's like if there was any abuse by anyone, whether it's Tristan or anybody else, like that's such a personal thing, and it's already
Mhm.
extremely traumatic to have to go through a court case and like
Mm.
relive it, but to do it so publicly for the entire like world to see.
I think of
Right,
it
that-
like
yeah.
did you ever watch the documentary with Drake from Drake and Josh?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
No, but you guys told me about it.
It's kind of
Oh,
reminds me
yes.
of that. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he was doing not well for a long time and I feel like he seems to be doing better, but it's also he came out kind of on his own terms and talked about it and I think that makes a difference and like
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Whereas this is just something that's being forced upon anybody who is victimized, that now this is
Yeah.
happening. And like that's part of what happens in like the court system is when it processes. But
Mhm.
I can't imagine that that's good for any of their mental health to have it so publicly like processed through, especially because everyone is going to make their speculation of like, oh, well, that must mean because like this happened here, and like that's why he did this.
Mhm.
That's why when like we
Yeah.
don't know, we know
Well,
none of
the
it.
last
But
the last
also-
thing that came out on Justin, like that, the last like news thing that was being spread around about him was he recorded and posted like a picture of the paparazzi coming out of somewhere. I don't know if it was his house or something, but coming out of somewhere, and it was just like paparazzi everywhere, and he's like, you guys have to stop, like look at this is crazy, please stop.
Yeah.
And in the caption he said something like that too, like this has to stop. And
He said that
was
for years, though.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah.
on the paparazzi for years, like just like
Just
this
leave me
is-
alone.
and he's not wrong. Like
No.
it's like one thing if you're standing at a corner and taking a picture from
Yeah,
something,
if
but
you're
like
in
they
public.
get up in their and
They're
I just I don't
aggressive.
Yeah, there's one.
I
of
don't
him.
subscribe to the fact that they don't deserve a little bit of privacy
Yeah.
and space and respect.
People, you
There's
know?
one
Yeah.
clip from
That's
him.
what bothers me. Like, yes, they choose to live their life in the spotlight, but they also still deserve
Yeah,
the human decency of privacy. Like, you
Yeah.
can
Like,
leave these people alone.
I don't
If
think
they're
there's
out in
any-
public, it's
yeah.
one thing. You don't need to be in the bushes by their house. Leave them
Mhm.
alone. Like,
Mhm.
Well, and you don't need to be in their face. Like
yeah,
stand across the street and take pictures if that's you believe that's your right to somebody, a
Mhm.
public figure. But like why like they literally shouldn't have to feel like they need to throw a punch to walk through your crowd.
No,
Like
no, God, no.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
but
there's
they're all
one of
just trying to
him,
get the
and it's
best
like
picture. They're all just trying to
yeah.
get the
They wanna
best to the
they wanna make a
closest,
buck.
like so it's they're
Yeah.
battling each other to be right up on top of them.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah,
it's-
on that same kind of thing, that same topic, did you see that lady who was one of the main like abuse accusers of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew died by suicide
Virginia.
yesterday or today or
No,
something?
I did not see that.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Virginia
Suspicious.
Virginia Giuffre or Giuffre or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
If you saw her picture, you'd probably
You're
recognize her.
kidding.
She
No,
I
killed
get all
herself.
my news via social media, so I'm very not getting any
Kelsey's
news.
sheltered
Yeah.
now. And you're normally like our pop culture queen.
Yeah.
So like now
I feel very
all cut off.
disconnected from life right now. It's very unsettling. But
I was very, very, like heavily into that case when it first came out, so I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah, she got into a car. Oh, she'd got into a car accident, and then she all of a sudden, I do remember. I didn't know she died. She got into a car accident, and then she had like liver failure or some kidney failure. Something went wrong with her organs after this car accident. I did not know she died.
No, this they're saying
Oh my
was
God,
suicide.
dies by suicide just week. No, I know, but the last thing I heard about her was
Yeah.
she got into the car crash that she didn't think was an accident. And then she had this organ failure that she also didn't think was an accident. She thought something happened to her at the hospital. And
Yeah.
now this, that doesn't look good.
No,
That
it's
doesn't look
crazy.
good. Yeah, it says right here, Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia. I don't know how to say her last name. Whatever. Dies by suicide just weeks after horror car crash.
Oh, it was
That's-
weeks after.
Weeks after the car crash, right? And it says
Wow.
suicide. Yeah, that sucks because she was trying really, really hard to like get
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah,
to
she
pay
was
their
very
dues,
outspoken.
I guess I don't know
and-
how else to say this. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was trying to get everything to come to light. However, a lot of people have a problem with her. They don't think that there's a lot of people out there that think that she's lying about a lot of things, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah,
Especially
all
now
cases
that-
are just very interesting just to see how
Now
they
it's
play
just
out.
really sketchy that
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
died by.
It's very sketchy. Very sketchy.
That seems to be a common theme with this case, though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure does.
Yep.
How
Which
weird.
makes it even more
Very interesting.
sketchy.
Oh,
We're not
yes.
saying
and
anything, but
Also, yeah.
should
not
not talk
we are.
about this.
Mm,
We're not saying we cracked the case, but I think we cracked the case.
yeah, we've solved it.
we've
In other
solved it.
news, while I'm on this
We
tangent,
know.
I want to watch the Aaron Carter documentary also. That's on Netflix.
Yes,
have
you keep
seen
bringing
it?
this up.
Okay, I haven't watched
No,
it
you
yet, but I
keep
still
bringing this
want
up,
to.
though.
You keep saying this. I didn't know there was one.
Yes, there is about
What
his
is it
whole.
on?
I think it's on Netflix, and Nick Carter
Okay.
and the sister that's still alive. Her name might be Ashley. I don't remember. they're like in it, you know, talking, because there was 5 kids and 3 of them died of drug overdoses now, including Aaron Carter with his drugs and, you know, drowning in his bathtub.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I started seeing the Justin
have a
Bieber stuff, it really
question.
like was reminding me of
I have a question about Aaron Carter that I guess I'm just gonna have to watch the documentary. Did he have the same doctor that what is his name, Michael Jackson had? Oh, wait. Okay. Speaking of pop culture moments, sorry, you guys. You guys know Matthew Perry,
Yes.
Chandler Bing. Okay.
Yes.
Remember how everybody thought he died of an overdose, also drowning in his hot tub? Now there is actual evidence that he did not drown accidentally because of an overdose. He actually was unalived by somebody else. They're saying.
Well, yeah, his assistant or whatever got charged with something. This has been a while back. His assistant got charged for
I just heard
like
about this the other day.
giving him too much ketamine or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just heard about this the other day. That
I don't know if I knew
they
that.
have now come out with it.
But the doctor also got charged because he was frequently overprescribing, yeah.
So
or something to that effect, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's a conspiracy. I think that's just a poor, like, that's just bad care, basically. It was just like cocky,
maybe
you just don't think anything's going to
careful
happen.
care.
Yeah.
But still, to all the young people that I'm sure are listening to our podcast, because it's so
to the thousands
there.
of young people flocking to our
service.
You
podcast.
don't want to be famous. You do not want to be
PSA.
Hollywood famous. You don't want to do it. It's not worth it. Hollywood famous.
Just
is
be
not worth it.
mediocre podcast famous.
Yeah.
It's so much
Yeah.
better.
Yes.
Start a podcast and yap at your friends, and it'll make you feel happy. Okay.
Damn, bitch, tell us how
Just
you're
be
rolling.
an influencer.
Yeah. Be an
We know who we
influencer.
are.
We know
Start a
who we are.
podcast. You don't need Hollywood. Stop. That's so scary to me. Hollywood is actually something that is so scary.
Hollywood is
to me.
terrifying.
Well, I was actually listening to oh my gosh, this is so rude that I have forgotten his name, when it's literally the whole point is that he's Zac Efron's brother, and one of the points they made was like that he's always called Zac Efron's brother, but like I'm having the most major brain fart right now and I cannot think of his name.
Google it before we move on.
I'm so sorry.
I am like very familiar with him too, so the fact that it slipped my brain is like
I didn't even know Zac Efron had a brother.
he did, and
So,
I didn't either.
Dylan.
Yeah.
I knew it was a basic name, but I was like,
Oh,
no,
like Zach is it?
it is Zach Dylan. They're all very like common
Not
boy
very
names.
creative parents.
No, but
The guy
anyways,
who feels
he's
forgettable.
no, he's not forgettable. He's actually gorgeous, and he's
gonna
got
look
a
him
very he's on the show Traders. You should watch it because it's a really good show.
Oh, I've heard that's
But,
really good. I've heard that from other people.
It's very good. But I was listening to a podcast on the File Files yesterday with him, and he was saying like growing up, he's like 4 years younger than Zach, and getting to like see Hollywood but not really be like famous
Yeah.
is so eye opening.
He
He's
is
like,
gorgeous. He's a babe.
Mhm.
yeah. And he's like, I realized at a young age that I didn't want to be famous because like I could see like I got to see it from, and we
Yeah,
were
he was,
in
like,
it, but
in it,
I
but
wasn't
removed.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
Well, and
But
that must have
he's-
been
yeah.
a very interesting viewpoint too,
Life.
just because his brother was so famous and like
Mm-hmm.
just the Hollywood heartthrob with
And he's
High School
remained
Musical and
that
stuff. And,
famous through all
Yeah.
of it. And he said he got to work on he was a PA. He got to work on A Star Is Born when he got out of college, and another big movie, Chips, with
That's
with
funny.
Dax
That's a good
Shepard.
movie.
Yeah. So it's like he's had a lot of exposure to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, I guess when you're an adult, I don't have a lot of like gripe with Hollywood. If you're an adult making that decision, you want to be in that,
Yeah.
situation, fine. My problem is with like the child actors.
I think it's
Mhm.
better when you get
It's-
famous as
as
an adult, like
That's
a
what I
later
mean, like,
adult. Yeah.
Get famous when you're an adult.
Okay, I'll take my fame now, please.
Yeah,
I turned 31 on Wednesday, and I'm prepared.
I just turned 32. I think I'm ready. I'm ready for my big moment. Let's go. Okay.
We're ready to not be a mediocre podcast.
No, we're ready to take this podcast to stardom, right to Hollywood.
Right, straight to
Give us a talk show.
Maybe to Dollywood, not Hollywood. I like Dolly Parton better than fucking anybody else. So maybe Dollywood, not Hollywood. But
bring us on the Kelly Clarkson show, please.
Yes. Oh. Okay.
Wait, Kelly Clarkson has a show?
Yes, she does.
It's very fun.
Is that what it's called? The Kelly Clarkson show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a daytime talk show. As long as we go on the same time that if we can go on that show at the same time that Ariana Grande is also on that show, then I will be there. I love her. She's on that show a lot. That's why I brought it up. And you guys know as my friends that I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah. Kelly Clarkson. You have your people call our people. Our people is just us.
So just call us. It's fine.
Yeah.
Find us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Find us on Instagram.
Add a little bit bothered. Hit us up. We check our own messages.
We're the podcast with 150 followers.
I'll re-download Instagram.
Just for that.
If Kelly Clarkson reaches out to us.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
Oh god.
We're ready for the invite. Funny. Thank you.
Oh god. But yeah, no, it's the child actors that like stress me out. And like with the Aaron Carter thing, he's been so famous since he was young because his brother was famous and then he got into music too. I remember
very young.
A big fan of Nick because of Backstreet Boys, and then when I found out that Aaron Carter was his brother, immediately I think everybody that was a fan of Backstreet Boys also became a fan of Aaron Carter. So it was like
especially
already had this built Yes,
yeah.
He had this like built-in fan base when he started, kind of, and he was young when he started. That freaking song, his remake of Candy was my favorite fucking remake ever of that song. He was so cute. I can literally see like the music video. I loved it so much. But it's like, how much of that exposure when he was so young caused what happened later on in his life?
But also it's like I feel like there needs to be a psychological study, like what makes it like what's the difference between how come some people make it out okay, like Hillary Duff seemingly is very like
normal.
I wasn't gonna use normal, I don't know, even like
well-adjusted.
Well-adjusted. That was what I was looking for.
Part of it is what is the protective factors that they have in their life.
But a lot of them had the same like experiences. So it has to. Is it just family life solely, like their protection of their family? Because
like, if they have protective factors from their family who is like helping them feel more normalized and feel like if their family treats them in a way where they are this like grandiose person and that they get to remain a celebrity in the home, then like there is no separation of it. And then if there's also
it's just more like they're still treated like a child at home, and it's just a job at the end of the day.
Yeah,
yes,
this is a
exactly.
job.
Like if it's treated like a job and there's this like separation and these boundaries and these protective factors allowing them to not be exposed to certain things, I think that would probably make a huge difference. But
one of the Sprouse twins did a really good interview. I think it was on Call Her Daddy, maybe. And he kind of talks about like, I don't know, like the dynamic of like treating it like a job, or like it kind of all about, the exploit. I don't know. It's really good to listen to,
absolutely,
because it gives you, I think, a really like insight on like how it could go wrong. Or
the other thing too is there's a lot of like child actors who've like shared their stories in more recent years where you get to hear more of like the behind the scenes of like what did it take for them to get there, where their families and their parents had to sacrifice everything or be split up as a family in order to make it happen. And I can't imagine that in most cases that's gonna like
be good for anybody,
a good long-term outcome. I mean, not to say that you can't, but like if the family is completely split and the entire family like decisions are revolving around one child's career and whether or not they're famous and how they're being portrayed, and there's all this attention on them, it's going to impact everybody in the entire family system.
I think Taylor Lautner kind of, I've heard him tell his story, and it's kind of like, I can't remember exactly, but I think that they did, even when they did things for him, like they did their best to keep their family together wherever they were. So I think maybe, you know, stuff like that does make a difference.
Well, I mean, even like Taylor Swift has talked about it in like some interviews and stuff where she intentionally tries to like cook her own meals and do things like that to remain like to keep that feeling of I'm a normal human being, I'm a normal person, this is just a job. And like, I mean, she's
she was technically a child star category. Too, right? Because she was 16 when she started, so she's child star category, right?
Absolutely.
I guess, yeah.
And so I think part of it is that from what she's talked about anyways, is her parents tried to maintain that, is that like you're still a child, like this is just a job, and like we're gonna separate that. And I think if there is no separation and it becomes like your entire personality, like how does that not impact you, right? Like, and I think that would be true for any job, is if you don't separate that and it becomes entirely you, except for now your entire job is like you are the brand and that never turns off. Mentally, that's gonna completely fuck.
I bet to some degree it plays on the parents, like their crave for their own fame, like kind of like pushing that onto their kids. And so then it's like, does it become unhealthy because they're so invested in the fame that they have to live vicariously through? And it's
and then they put them in more precarious situations, or are less protective, or are more willing to do more things.
But I think it was the Drake documentary where they were kind of like some of the parents were kind of tricked or like manipulated into situations that they probably wouldn't normally.
Drake's own parents, his parents were separated.
His dad was pushed out of the situation entirely.
His dad was completely pushed out of the situation because the guy that was abusing him, Brian, he manipulated Drake's mother into saying that, you know, his dad was going to hold Drake behind and like all these things. And so he constantly was manipulating Drake and his mom against the dad. And eventually the dad was not allowed to see Drake anymore. And that's when the actual abuse started happening, because he was able to get the one parent, the one person
that was seen
had
through
suspicious, out of the whole picture. And then
there was another kid in that one though, that where the mom actually did she wasn't putting up with it, and they pushed him out of the show.
They pushed the whole kid out of the show. Yep. They just said, well, which is
she did the right thing.
Like,
I mean, she
did do the right thing.
I hope now she
child,
sees that, you know, even though that probably
and I hope her kid sees it, because he was probably upset at the time, but I think now they are glad that they made the choices they made. But that's sad. The kid wanted to be an actor. The kid wanted to be a comedian, and you're not going to allow them to be a comedian and have a career because you can't exploit that child the way you want to. That's disgusting. Like, you're a sick human being. You know? Yeah. There just needs to be more protective measures, I think, for young actors, because
it's crazy that they can't,
movies
like,
and shows are geared towards kids or whatever. They need child actors. I get it. There's a demand for child actors, but there should be more protections and like laws.
The problem is that there's always corruption, and there's always people willing to work around.
Yeah.
So
I can't
hopefully now that more stuff is coming to the light.
I agree.
People are watching their P's and Q's more.
Yeah. Hopefully the next generation won't go through the same thing.
I think now parents are being a little bit more vigilant as well.
I also think so, just as a whole, maybe this is naive to say, but I think even as younger kids, we're being taught more to like recognize when something's not okay, and to be more like, because like I don't feel, and I'm not shitting on my parents, I just literally just don't think it's something that ever crossed the mind. Like, I don't feel like I would have been bold enough to say no to certain things. And it's just because like I feel like you don't realize that you can, or like you're just not taught, like you just I don't think it's
it wasn't
on purpose, but it's just not something that you thought, oh, I need to teach my kid that like they could be, it's like, okay to be mean or say no.
It just wasn't talked about as we were growing up as something that really happened. And so if you were put into that position, it very much probably felt like you were this like anomaly that, you know, nobody else has experienced this, or like I have to keep my mouth shut, you know what I mean? But it's become talked about more, that I think as like people who have been victimized have like shared it and share the stories, and so you start to realize like, oh, it really does happen more commonly, and it's with people that like we least expect. And it's interesting because we actually even experienced that this week as we were camping, because one of my kids wanted to have a sleepover in one of the other cabins, which they're fine, like that their family is fine, but it's just a rule in our house, like we don't do sleepovers for this reason. And now like we're kind of moving into this like age range with our kids where we have to have more of these conversations more frequently, and like give them those words of speaking up of like, if it feels off, then it's off, and like you have every right to speak up, you have every right to tell mom, like but those were not conversations I think that were frequently happening when we were growing up, you know.
Even just as simple as we don't have to,
because I'm sitting there.
Well, I think that we had them. I'm not saying we didn't, but I'm saying we almost take it to the next level now, where it's like, if somebody puts you in a bad situation, you are allowed to be rude. You are allowed to get yourself out. Like, you're allowed to be
we've
loud taken
about
it. Yes, we've taken it to
that.
another level. I think, like,
I definitely
whereas, like,
I think though we
we were
raised by
taught like a
single mom.
no touch, but like,
no, but I think I was raised by a single mom. So like, and then when I was younger, we moved to Arizona, and we weren't from there, so we didn't have like really anybody. So it was like everybody was a stranger, you know? So that was something that my mom, like, I remember being drilled into my head. You don't know these people. Like, you don't know these people here, okay? If it's not me or it's not your aunt, and that was the only person we had in Arizona, then it's not okay. And you need to be, my mom always taught me, like, don't scream help. You scream fire. People will come for a fire. People won't come for help. People hear help and they'll look the other way.
This reminds me, this conversation is circling back because I had a realization about our conversation in the last episode. We must have been talking, we were talking about kidnapping and like human trafficking and stuff. There was a situation to this day, my grandma my grandma and my mom maintain this story, but like I was at the playground with my grandma, and I swear, like, I don't think that, however, I couldn't have been 5 maybe, like I don't think that I could concoct some crazy story in my head for like, my memory of this from this day is that I was trying to climb up on this like platform that was a little higher, and this guy grabbed me, and I swear to God he was trying to pull me off. Like, he was not being helpful. It felt very resistant. Like, I thought I was being kidnapped. I got on, it was fine. I did not get kidnapped, but like I don't know if I didn't mention it, like, or I don't remember what happened after that. Gone. The rest of the day, the playground is gone. I just remember that. But I've talked to my mom about it since then, and she was like, I must have brought it up because she's like, your grandma just swears that he was trying to help you. I was like, no, like, why would I remember it so like adamantly that he was pulling on me,
not pushing,
and maybe
me up.
from a distance, and because like he just casual about it, and I didn't like, I don't remember panicking, like I don't remember like crying about it. Maybe I did, I don't know, but like maybe it just didn't seem like that big of a deal. But just the memory of it is him like trying to pull me off of this platform when I'm trying to climb on it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. That just made me think of that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is scary though.
That is really scary.
I didn't get kidnapped, so
you didn't.
Yeah,
so you're
but
fine.
it's still a scary memory, and
it is. But it's just so weird how it's like completely different from like the perspective that my grandma saw. Yeah,
I just think it's so funny too. I was thinking about, I think, was it last episode that we talked about how men just are not in fear for their lives as like women are? And like I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know. This correlates to this of how like I was taught at a very young age to just be very aware of my surroundings all the time. Like, and my mom is very open about like her own life before she was a mother, and so she would told me things that she had been through in her life so that I was aware of things and to watch out for things, and to know when like you get that weird feeling in your stomach that you need to trust that feeling in your stomach, you need to remove yourself from the situation or whatever. But like, so the Pope died right on Monday, Easter Monday, and I started thinking about that. Well, we won't get too far into it because I get a little bit of conspiracy theorist when it comes to the Pope, because I was raised Catholic and I don't have any problems with religion. I am like a spiritual, I believe in God, whatever, but I have problems with the Catholic Church specifically. And part of it stems from, I was realizing, part of it stems from that same notion. I was told when I was younger, my mom doesn't believe this anymore, but when I was younger and making my communion and doing all the sacraments that you have to do in the Catholic Church when you're young, that to be wary of the priest, right? Because Catholic priests have a certain reputation. And so I always thought that like weird in this, like, I remember when I was younger, I was asking kind of what is the purpose of the priest? Like, why, because I was a child and I was curious and whatever. I wanted to know why I have to go into this box with this man and confess my sins when I'm 8 years old. What is why? And I was told like these men are basically chosen to recite the word of God. Like they are basically your one-way hotline to Jesus. You tell them your sins and they, communicate with the Lord and then you're fine. That was always weird to me because in the same breath that I was being told this person was chosen to be the voice of Jesus, or however you want to phrase it, in the same breath I was told he's still a strange man. If anything feels weird, you need to say something about it. Like, so I always I remember being told this
That's
from
that's a not a good line to blur.
No, but I also just remember being told this at such a young age because I was going to be in close proximity to a male. You know what I mean? And so from young age, I remember being told that. And I don't think it's told enough to people because I think if more people really had that same thing drilled into them, like it doesn't matter if they're your priest, your teacher, it doesn't matter.
Someone in
whoever.
the
If you
position of
think-
authority.
You think you can trust someone and they do something that's not right, it doesn't matter. You need to tell somebody, even if they say like, it's okay because I'm this and this.
I feel like that's what I was
nobody is
kind
above,
of, yeah.
above that.
I feel like that's what I'm saying though, is that we now, I think as a society are
yes.
putting that into our kids more than ever when we probably didn't really get that, like, just because I don't know. I'm from the Midwest, so maybe it just stems from like a lot of trust with just,
I didn't get it
small
either.
town
No.
communities.
Yeah, could be because
Definitely
my mom's from New York. We don't trust nobody. So
I feel like maybe that's why you got it, because you're from New York.
Yeah,
literally,
Yeah.
like.
but for real, because same
I
thing.
was
I mean,
just told to trust nobody.
yeah, no, being in a small town, you kind of just trust everybody in a way.
Mhm.
Like there were always like some people that like I think collectively as his kids like knew like, oh yeah, they're kind of sketch. Like we're not gonna.
But to some
But, like,
degree,
for the
those were
most part-
stereotypes, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, absolutely.
they were only like, I remember my parents like warning me about certain people, but those just came from like stereotypes of their bad reputation, not true. Like, it's like you should worry about your freaking great neighbor that you've known your whole life just as much as the person who has a bad reputation.
That's what I mean. You should worry about the priest
Yeah.
as much as you do the convict because you never
Right.
know.
Well, and my sister and I,
never
like,
know.
because we got into a lot of conversation about this since, like, the sleepover thing had come up and whatever. And I think for me, like, part of it is that I need to know that my kids are at a place maturity-wise that they can recognize what's not appropriate. And they can recognize when a boundary is being crossed and that they feel comfortable to speak up. And until then, like, I can't just assume that these places are fine if
safe and
if
fine,
I don't feel like they have the language and like the maturity to
capacity to
understand
tell
like
you.
nope, that's my line and like we're not crossing it.
I think that's something I've learned is that something that I want my kids to like be really instilled in is just like not just in like a sexual nature, but just like in any nature.
In
like
any nature,
you're allowed
yeah.
to say no. Like it's okay to stand up for yourself. And just like I just want them to have a fucking backbone. I don't want them to be mean. I don't want them to be like rude or judgy. I just want them to know that I just want them to feel like they can in the moment that where they're facing
that
something.
they're allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's been going on with my kids right now is like I'm trying to teach them that no is a complete sentence, even with each other. You know what I mean? Like they'll be my older one will be trying to get my younger one to do something and she'll be like no, and I'm like, Lil, you have to respect the fact that she says no. When somebody says no, it's no. I get she's your little sister, you want her to play with you, but if she's telling you no, then that means no.
And I guess to expand on that is like you have to also teach them that you have learned that no means no, but there will be people in the world that will not respect your no, and you are allowed to get out of that situation
out of
or
that
remove
situation,
them from this.
yep.
I don't, whatever, it depends what power you have, but like,
Yeah.
you know,
But you need to
You're-
know that no means no, and you need to
you don't have
stand
to,
on it.
if
You
you
don't-
say no and they keep like they keep going on with whatever you just said no,
Yeah.
you don't have to put like,
Yeah.
that's not, you don't have to
Yeah.
back down and like, oh,
No.
I tried, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
No, you keep
Well,
going.
boundaries
you
are
don't
not
stop.
meant to make other people happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Or you shouldn't be scared of the
follow-up that-
consequences of
Yeah,
saying no.
but the follow-up of that is that when we say no and somebody is upset about it, we have to be comfortable or learn to be okay with that discomfort.
Yeah.
Because it does
Mhm.
suck when like they push it.
Well-
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that, you know, there's obviously 1,000 ways you can go, but usually if you're afraid that they're not respecting your no, it's usually because you're afraid of like the consequences of
Mhm.
what could come from that. So it's just like,
Mhm.
that's a hard thing to teach.
It is so
It's
hard. And,
important,
like,
though.
So
Yeah.
It is.
important. And another like layer to that is like we've entered the phase now of like talking back is a thing,
Mm.
and it drives me crazy. But I'm also
You're just now
trying-
entering that phase?
Well,
Mine have been doing that
no,
since they
no,
came
no.
out of the womb.
We're,
No, I'm just
we're
kidding.
entering it in like a new
A
level,
serious
like,
way. Yeah.
it is something else lately, and like the things that my kids are saying, I'm just like, where the hell did that come from? But I'm trying to remember that like that's still a skill that they have to learn. Is like they should be able, like this voice that we're talking about of like being able to tell people no and like call out what they disagree with. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't just show up, right? Like that
Yeah.
that's learned through being able to respond and like speak to adults, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like really, really trying to remember that of like, okay, wait, this is an opportunity for them to try that again because we can still do
Yeah.
it in a respectful way.
Right.
But
I was
we're allowed
going to
to
say
have our
there's a
opinions,
line
right?
where talking back is
so
like
freaking hard, though.
authoritative and you can respect their boundary that they're putting. But
Mhm.
also, are you talking back to put a boundary, or are you talking back to just be disrespectful? You know what I mean? So like there's a difference between
Right.
how it is
Mhm.
received. I
Well,
guess.
and like I want us to be like the safe place for them to try that out and to get it
Yeah.
wrong, right?
Mhm.
But also
your patience can't handle it.
the way it triggers you as a parent, and you're just like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
so
Yep.
freaking hard.
The way it transports me back to when I used to brawl in the streets. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You're not kidding.
No, guys, I really am kidding.
She's
Stop.
not.
I am. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So before we keep going and spiraling, next.
for something more lighthearted, let me just share something with you guys that apparently is legit. Because when you have too much money, I guess this is what you do. Do you see these shoes?
Are those duck feet?
Those look like a duck.
Those are duck feet. Yeah. I'm curious.
They look like they're made out of Jello. Hold on.
This was the one you were trying to screenshot. Where it's, I'm just an ordinary girl with fucking duck feet.
Ordinary.
So I'm curious. How much do you think that these shoes would go
Holy
for?
shit.
Oh,
No,
man,
is that a
they're
real
probably
question?
Okay,
I'm
so
scared.
for our
Are
listeners,
you
It is a
gonna
real
Google it?
question. No,
Do
I already
you know
have
the answer?
I already
Oh.
have the answer.
okay, hold on.
Take a
For our
guess.
listeners, there's
Yeah.
a picture of a woman in like what seems to be a black suit, and she's wearing shoes that actually look like
They should be in
Duck
DuckTales.
They're like burgundy, so I guess like that's a rich
like
color.
burgundy. Okay.
But there's
Wow,
lots of
they're so
options. Trust
weird.
me. I
Are
went
they
and looked.
heels?
Well, I'm
Okay.
trying to
What are
think.
they?
We
Like
will post
Kanye's
this on our Instagram.
sneakers- Yeah, like Kanye's sneakers that he has are like an outrageous amount of money. I'm gonna assume
Yeah.
that this is very similar. I'm gonna go with duck feet. What designer made these?
Zamika,
Ma-
I guess. I don't know.
They always do the
I'm
weirdest
gonna
fucking
say-
shit.
Yeah.
$3 million.
Oh my
No, not
god,
that much.
what?
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say
6,000.
3,000.
I was gonna
Okay,
say 6,000.
Okay. Well,
Let's
you guys
go
are way
8,000.
overshooting, but these are still way more money than they should be ever.
Okay.
We're more in the hundreds.
Oh, 600.
Oh.
Stop. Nicole said $3 million.
I did because you never know with these people. You never
true.
know.
That is fair.
You
That is
never
fair.
know.
That is fair. I will say these are not like the outrageous,
Okay.
Oh my god.
crazy. But to pay this amount of money to walk around looking like you're waddling like a duck, like better go ask, like, got any grapes? Because that's what you look like.
Got any
You couldn't
grapes?
pay
Oh
me
my
to
god,
wear
that's
those.
such a niche fucking thing, Monica.
Okay, what's the price? What's the price?
You got any grapes? I
Got
swear
any
to
grapes? Waddle, waddle, waddle.
And he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
Okay, you got any grapes?
We're just millennials.
We're just a girl. We're just girls. We're just
We're
girls.
just a bunch of girl millennials.
Okay, so they're not like outrageous, but still, like, who in the
Can
hell
I take my
is
3
paying-
million back?
Yeah, take the millions.
900.
No, it's $483 US for
Still
shoes
stupid.
to look like a duck.
No.
Like,
They're so ugly.
not outrageous, not like the most expensive
that
shoes
is
out there.
outrageous.
But who is spending over $400 to look like a duck?
I wouldn't
know.
buy those if they were free.
I wouldn't
And
either.
yeah, you couldn't make me wear those. You know
I
they're
wouldn't
not
pick those up at
comfortable.
Goodwill.
No,
No, they would be staying on the rack. You know those are not comfortable.
no, not a chance.
Why?
They're
you-
so
you
weird.
literally-
Why would you wear them? I don't.
You'd
get
have
it. I
to
don't
pay me
understand.
$3 million
You could
to wear.
probably
to
walk
wear
on
those.
water with those shoes,
3
or at
million.
least go
I'm-
walking through the snow.
Those are swimsuit shoes for sure. She's just
Yeah, they do.
She came from the
Swoosh.
pool, put on her suit, and didn't have any other shoes. So
Yeah,
See,
it's
yeah,
very
like
from
literally
the
like a
lake
flipper.
to the black tie affair.
Right. It's the fancy
wild.
duck.
The
It's a
fancy
fancy
duck
duck.
with
It's
her
a fancy duck with
feet.
slacks.
Waddle waddle.
Well,
Got any grapes? Oh my gosh. I actually just played that for my kids not that long ago.
my kids love that song, so that's why it's still very fresh in my head.
some things never die in your brain.
Don't.
That's
They
one of
don't-
them.
They don't die. That one does not die. Speaking of trends, though, so I went shopping a couple weeks ago, and Bermuda shorts and capris
I've been
They're
seeing
back,
those
baby.
are coming
are
back.
back.
I can do
They're back,
capris, but
baby.
Jelly
cannot with
shoes.
the Bermuda
Did you
shorts.
see jelly shoes?
I
I
can't.
saw jelly
I've
shoes.
always worn jelly shoes. I love jelly
Yeah.
shoes.
I think
However,
I'm
Skims
actually-
came out with some that look like they are just waiting.
Oh, I saw
for
those
your
and they're
feet to
weird.
stink and
Yeah.
fart when you walk. Like
Ew.
they're so bad.
Ew.
We don't want that.
Bermuda shorts have always been a problem because I'm tall, so it's like
Yeah.
they're never as long as they're
Mhm.
supposed to be, but also they somehow just make me look tall. It's a very weird.
Well, they're very
like, just
unflattering.
fucking-
They're not
Yeah, I
They
flattering.
just-
are.
gonna
They're
say,
very. They're
I feel
very
like I'm
unflattering.
finally at the age where Bermuda shorts make sense.
Because your
I
butt's
don't
not hanging
mind
out
having
and you
I
can
don't
do
mind a little
stuff and-
longer, but
Yeah, I
like
don't
I don't
mind-
need them down to my like halfway down my thigh. I almost said shin.
I think they're good
That
for
would be a
like
capri.
if you're golfing, but like to
Yeah.
wear on a regular day.
much,
No,
yeah.
no.
I'm cool with capris. I love a capri.
I like
I'm
capris, yeah,
happy
they're
with
I don't
fine.
know. I don't know.
I'm on the fence.
Even
I
though
don't
I'm
know.
short.
I'm on the fence. I think it depends on the length of the capri though too, because the ones just under the knee, I don't.
It's ugly.
know.
Yeah, my calf.
I think
needs
it
to be,
depends.
like,
I think it
covered.
depends who they're on, honestly.
That's
Yeah.
true too. And the thing is, like, I definitely wore both of these.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Way back when. And these are one of those things that I look back on. I'm like, those were not flattering on me like I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Those weren't.
I
good.
had some. I
I-
specifically remember some Bermuda shorts that I cut out of jeans. Like I had jeans, cut them into Bermuda shorts, so they were the right length
Yeah.
because I am also tall. But then we had this great idea to like splatter paint all over them, and like I dipped my
And you
hands
ruined
in
them.
paint and put like handprints on my butt, And I was in I was in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school at the time. They must have been so hideous. Like they must have been so ugly, But at the time, I
But
was
you
like,
loved them.
"These are so
You're like,
cool."
but I made these.
And then my parents allowed me to walk around with like these handprints on my ass, I actually had a teacher one time say something. I wore those to school, and the teacher was like, "Are those handprints on your butt?" That teacher, coincidentally, got arrested for having sex with a student. So
Oh my god.
took you down that rabbit hole real quick.
Full circle.
Full circle
Full
moment.
circle.
Mhm. Yep.
That was the
So-
first red flag.
Bermuda shorts aren't as
I-
safe as you think they might be. Okay.
I think handprints on your ass aren't as safe as you think they are.
It's the Bermuda shorts. I could have been a
Shorts.
victim.
Not the handprints.
I know they say fashion comes back around, but I really wish it would stop. I was on
I do too.
I was on Pink's website last night, like Victoria's Secret Pink, and because it was like everything is buy two get two free, and I was like, that seems like it could be good, you know. Like I used to fuck with some Pink. It's awful. Have you like? Oh my god! Just take a minute to
No.
go on there one of these days. It's so bad. Oh my god! I'm sorry if you like what you see on Pink. We're not in the same. We're just in different generations. It's fine. But there was a pair of shorts with stars on the butt cheeks, and I was like, okay, we're going back to butt cheek
man.
things.
Yeah.
Butt cheek
Noted.
Everything was on our
But that wasn't
jeans.
even the worst.
Misty
That wasn't the
jeans.
worst. I can live with stuff on the butt cheeks, I guess, but like some of this stuff was just like,
I'm gonna have to go look later.
I don't
And
know. I'm not a
cringe and
fan.
feel really old.
That's really funny.
I saw somebody call, like, oh my god, yoga pants flared leggings, and I was like,
Oh,
excuse
yes.
me? Those are just yoga
Right.
That
pants. They're
makes
just
me giggle.
those are just the
flared
original
leggings?
yoga
What
pants.
is that? It's just a yoga pant. Shut up. Like, what do you mean flared leggings? Get out of here. Not everything has to be a flare, like flared jeans. Blah, blah. No,
I mean, they
it's
are
a yoga
flared,
pant.
but
I
those
know,
were
but
just
it's
those were just
They're
yoga
leggings.
pants.
They're just yoga pants. Like, shut up. And I lived in them, and I would love for those to make a comeback. So I'm not mad about that. I'm over the skinny jean. Like, why do my pants need to be so tight to my legs?
I'm over
I
the
don't
skinny jeans
like it
too.
anymore.
It's funny
Yeah.
because I resisted skinny jeans for so long because I was like, I already have chicken legs. Why do I want something accentuating that? But then, like, I got on the skinny jean train, and now I feel like
Can't get off.
I can't get on the new, like, the baggy jeans train because, like, then I'm swimming.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I do have chicken legs, and it's weird to swim in your jeans. Like,
And
I
you're
just,
tall.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
your
just
legs
think
are
they
just
look
like,
make me look weird. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I'm
So
with you.
long.
I feel like if I put on like the baggy jeans because like I'm like curvier and I've got a big old booty, like it
Well, we're
ends up making me
short,
feel like
too.
I'm really wide and like I'm already short as it is
Yeah.
too. So I have such a hard
Monica
time.
have like Monica and I have the same body type where we're short and we have short torsos.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to have a skinny jean, but sometimes that's my only option, or like maybe a little bit of a relaxed fit works. But I can't do like the super baggy. I can't do things like the boyfriend jean. Can't really do
it
it
just
because
makes
then
us
they
look
just
like a box.
make me frumpy. And
Well,
yeah,
there's
it's
a pair.
clear.
There's a pair of jeans. It's from American Eagle, and it looks so good on so many people. Where like it hugs their butt, but then it's baggier on the legs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like the perfect balance.
I might
But I
be
bought
agreeing.
that pair of jeans,
And it's
and
not.
guess what, bitches? It's just baggy
Yeah.
because I don't have a butt.
I was gonna say you would have to have
I'll
a butt
share.
to start with.
Well, I just thought maybe it's just a little more fitted, and then it like lets out.
No.
But
Yeah.
no, it's just those people actually have nice hips and butts, and I don't.
Okay.
so.
Well, then those might be for us, Nicole.
They might be. Well, I don't really have.
for us.
I don't really have hips. I'm like very. You are hippie, like
Very
curvy
hippie.
with short torso. I am not though. I am just short torso with boobs. That's all I got. I don't have any other curves. I
So it
just
still
have
might be cute on you
boobs.
though.
The problem
And I
also
barely
is
have a
that
butt.
like you can't just go to a store and try on because and maybe you experience this as short people,
Mhm.
but like they only have the regular sizes. So you can't get an accurate fit on anything
Mhm.
because
That's what I was saying.
They're always
with the
out of
capri
like
thing
the sizes.
earlier. Like I've
Yeah.
worn some capris as regular pants because some capris fit me as regular pants. So because I'm short, okay.
well,
So
and it's like the pants that there's like those it's kind of like popular to like have your pants hit at the ankle too.
yeah.
And it's like if I put those on, they would be capris. They would be up under my knee.
And if I
like,
put those on, they will be regular pants.
Mhm.
They will just
Yeah.
hit my where they're supposed to be.
Same.
I used to work for Ann Taylor, and they had a lot of that ankle style because
Mhm.
they're a little bit more like dressy, cash type, you know.
Oh yeah, I had so many like business
But
cash
it's like-
pants.
Yeah, and so all of their styles kind of hit like that. And I would buy a pair thinking this is so cute, and then they would literally just be pants on me. I'm like, where's my ankle? My ankle's gone. I want to show my ankle. We're not in the early 1900s where showing your ankle is a sin. I want to show my ankle.
1900s. Well, on that note, isn't it fun to be a millennial?
It is, yeah. To we're finally at the age where we're watching fashion come back around, and it's jarring.
Come back around.
it's not yeah. To go back where you came from.
It's very interesting.
Early 2000s, go away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note,
This is fun.
we gotta go.
We'll see you guys next week.
Fun to have another chaotic chat.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, follow, subscribe, and share, and come chat with us in our DMs.
Join the group
See ya.
chat. Okay, bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was the most millennial ending we could have given.
Perfect.
Welcome to the inner sanctum of friendship. These bitches are a little bit bothered.